always win.
911, what's your emergency?
Hello? Is anyone there? Please, hello?
Wait, why?
I need help. Who's ready?
He's gonna like join the
Can
IDF.
anyone hear me?
Oh no, we were doing so well.
Everywhere.
All right, one deep breath in.
It's the Catican, baby. It's the Catican, baby. It's the Catican.
You're awfully quiet. What are you thinking?
We're 9-6 and losing to everyone worth a damn. I swear this marriage is only my second biggest regret now.
Sir, I don't know how many times I need to explain this. You cannot donate your shoulder to low or your need acquaintance.
What about the other thing?
No, sir, you cannot donate your testicles so the team plays with more balls.
Huh? Well, then what is the hospital even for?
He was a dead man walking to his fate.
Mark Pope isn't even in the game. Why are you writing his name?
Yeah, but he still betrayed me. I need him gone.
What?
He's not even here.
All right, vote recorded.
Yes.
It's the Catican, baby.
It's the Catican, baby. Kentucky gets a 20-point win. We fought back, and this is probably the best 10-minute stretch of basketball we've played since Purdue. Fellas, how we feeling?
Better than I have in a while. Happy to see some good ball movement. Happy to see guys playing like they were happy to be here. At one point, in the middle of the first half, I said, I really just don't like games where I want us to come back from a 10-point deficit against Mississippi State. And then in the second half, I didn't think about that at all and just enjoyed it. So that was good.
I'm feeling sweet.
Damn it. I wanted to say that.
I feel hopeful, and that's kind of scary. But we played a lot of good basketball. The offense runs a lot better when you have 3.5 to 4 guys who can hit a three.
A novel thought.
That was very, very, very incredibly apparent tonight. Cam Williams, he needs to play 42 minutes every game.
You know, with the longer the season goes on, the more egregious it is that Trent Noah was starting over Cam Williams at any part of the season. Raph, you have any thoughts on the game, or did he take your IM tweet from you?
Yeah, it really threw me off. I was saving that one. Trent didn't play today, did he?
He came right up.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I thought maybe he was hurt.
He got hit in the Johnson, I think.
Tough place to get hit.
He did take some contact and immediately start limping.
I like the way they ended it, especially the end of the second half. I mean, who didn't? We actually had functional offense and great ball movement, and I hope we have more of that to come, and maybe that's the point where things start coming into place this season. Can't really talk about the game, though, without talking about the fact that we immediately go down 12 to start the game, and Jalen Lowe goes down, which is just 2 immediate swift kicks to the nuts to start it. But am happy that they battled back and took the lead and kind of comfortably cruised at the end, which we've done about 3/4 of that this season. But the fact that we actually took the lead and held on to it is at least a positive sign. Overall, I mean, I don't know how at the position that we are now with the season, I don't know how you can be upset coming out of this.
Things were pretty bleak there in the early first half. Like, Rupp was booing. The team looked bad. Lowe just got hurt. And then they totally did a 180 and turned it around, and it was a really good game at the end for us. But it looked really bad at one point. I was not sure we could come back from that.
About the point when somebody passed the ball to BG and it went right between his legs and the guy called it the 5-hole. That was maybe the low point of the game for me. I sort of felt that same way. Like, you're sitting there, there's booing, effort wasn't there, didn't look like people were having fun, and all too familiar of a feeling this season. But it turned into our first win over a power conference team without Jalen Lowe. So that is, mostly without Jalen Lowe.
Can't look a gift horse in the mouth. There's certainly plenty of negatives to take away, because we really could harp on how dicey it was there in the beginning with how bad the offense looked, that it went right back into Aberdeen just dribbling the air out of the ball and us just not being able to stop a bad Mississippi State team from scoring. But thankfully things leveled out. Got to see a really good version of Denzel Aberdeen to close out the game. Otega Owe looks like Otega Owe again. Welcome back. And Cam, wow. You know what? It wasn't even just the shooting. It was Cam's defense and Cam's passing, which has not been talked about at any point this season.
He was like the best player on the court by a lot tonight. And I know, disclaimer, plus minus, yada, 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 right? Plus 32 tonight, with the next highest being plus 19 from Moreno. And then Jasper, I thought, he was plus 16 in his 10 minutes. I think our ceiling tonight, the main thing that happened for me tonight is I got more hopeful on our ceiling, because if Jasper can come in and actually play, and Aberdeen can move over, and Owe can have 3 other shooters out there so he can slice and dice, offense looks really good. And then Cam is ridiculously good at defense. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then Owe was picking people's pockets again. And I think that's something that he did a lot last year. And it happened how many steals did he have? 5 steals tonight.
Malachi had 4 steals.
Yeah.
Malachi actually had an awesome stat line: 17, 8, 6, and 4.
It's been a while since we've had a good game from Malachi. Yeah. He's not been good.
He still had a couple times. He still had a couple times where he went up for a shot, and I think this is the manifestation of staying in Kentucky, playing smaller guys all senior year. There are some shots where he just had no opposition, I think, in high school. And some of them he just has to learn that he can't get away with at this level. There were a couple of those, but he was efficient. He didn't try to do too much.
8 for 10.
Yeah, right. Good game from him. Pretty good game from a number of guys, which is we'll take wins where we can get them at this point.
And those guys, the guys that played well, played the most minutes too, which is good to see from a substitution pattern finally.
Yeah. So Chris Jans had to use 4 timeouts in the first 9.5 minutes of the second half, and that was because it was just like run, just quickly, and just kind of put him away at that point. It's nice to see Hope Xing and Owing, like he's allegedly really good at.
Got to see some Jasper Johnson run. Had some good things, had some bad things. I'll take it. It looks like he looks better now. Like, the bad doesn't look as bad as it did in the beginning of the year. And he's not going to get any better just riding the pine. And especially with, I think Lowe will be back. It looked very similar to how the St. John's thing went. And maybe they just chose to hold him out of it. I'm not sure. But either way, you're going to want a more experienced Jasper Johnson. So you're going to want to give him some run, to some valuable minutes from him tonight. I would like for him to play because he is someone who at least can theoretically make a shot.
Yeah, and I think Jasper playing when he was playing, and there was a few shooters out there and jellies out there, and when he gets to take a guy 1-on-1, he looks ridiculously good. Whenever there's some big bodies just like kind of clogging the paint, and he still tries to drive to the rim, that's when he looks really bad. But he pulled up and he hit his only 3 that he took tonight, which that's huge. And he also can handle the ball in a way that Aberdeen cannot. Aberdeen, you get him against like a handsy point guard guarding him, and it is usually bad. He dribbles the air out of the ball, doesn't really take the first pass and initiate the offense. But he played really well when he was in that like 2-man role tonight. He hit 2 threes, and then completely botched the third, which is the Aberthreen experience.
Love that. Also, a big storyline, I'm sure, coming out of this game. Not much Mo Diabate in the second half, which is not a great look for him, with it being the best we've looked offensively in a while. Maybe a small ball 5 look for him could be the way to go if you're trying to get him minutes. But I'm not sure I'm loving the idea, especially after seeing this, of seeing Mo at the 4.
No, I agree.
One other thing that I liked was it's the best minutes we've had from Jelavic in a while. He didn't score a ton, 3 points, 1 from 3. He made 1, which, I mean, 1 for 3 is an improvement on his season percentage, which is unfortunate. But some good boards, an assist. But I think maybe more importantly, he didn't look like he didn't belong, which certainly you couldn't have said about him in every game he's played. Some of them you're thinking, I hope you figure it out, but I don't know how you're going to do that because I also don't want you on the floor at all. And I didn't feel that way. It's so nice to see him have a good game.
He had
plus 14 in 16 minutes.
Yeah. Well, he was initiating the offense at the top of the key. And so he might not have, he only had 1 assist, but I think he had a couple like pass to assists. And the fact that he can pull up just really transforms the spacing. It's I think it's a requirement if we're gonna have a Mark Pope coached team. It's got to be like that. So yeah, it was good to see him get some run. And I mean, Jasper and him, I think, are them improving in the year and developing is going to be a thing that makes or breaks us with the Euro pipeline and the high school pipeline. You piss off the parents, yikes. So them playing well, contributing to winning, and then also looking like contributors and improving is huge for the program building aspect of all of this.
I'm just not sure what a game like this does to help us with the lineup confusion, because now you added some more guys into the mix when you would think you'd be making the lineup shorter.
It's also tough in that you find a lineup that works for this whole second half. We look good, and you did it with 2 players injured, unable to play, who usually would be taking some of those minutes, and Diabate not playing a whole lot. That's, probably not going to happen on a consistent basis. So I agree with you. I don't think this necessarily solved all of our lineup questions. I think the one good takeaway is that, like Caleb said earlier, we played the guys that were playing well. From a Pope, how did you handle the lineup in the game perspective? I think it went well, and he kept the good guys in.
I do like what Caleb was saying about Yelovich initiating the offense, because last year, I mean, anybody who watched last year's team could see so much of it was Amari initiating the offense. So to have somebody with size to be able to pass like that, like a Yelovich, I'd also like to see Cam. Maybe have Cam start initiating the offense, because he was getting some passes off tonight and things were opening up. Especially if you don't really have a point guard, you're gonna have to get creative. And I don't hate that idea.
Malachi had 6 assists tonight, which means they were actually clearing the ball out of a congested paint, which hasn't happened all year. It's gotten stuck every single time. Yeah, it's a little frustrating because these are things that opposing coaches have said in post-game press conferences. Everybody has said, like all the national media people are like, why don't they just do this? Why don't they just do this? And then it works. And you're like, why the hell didn't we do this in November? Right. And then it's like, also, do I trust him to keep doing this since it is almost out of character at this point in the season? But a 24-point win against the 2-0 in the SEC, Mississippi State, feels pretty good.
I'll take it.
Especially going down like 12. And that was another thing that really, really stood out was he made a philosophical change to the game once they went down and stuck with it. That hasn't happened all year. There's never been any tweaks until the halftime.
Yep.
And that changed a lot. But sometimes it seems simple, right? Just play your best players.
Pope's talked about for the past couple of weeks, like, we need to find this team's identity. What do we do? What do we do well? Tonight, there was a lot of examples of what this team's identity can be moving forward.
Well, I think that's true. I think that there are things that work tonight that haven't really worked a ton for us the rest of the season. And I don't know why they did work so well tonight. I don't know if it was spacing differences or just that guys were on, or that the lineups were different, or that guys were tired of losing and getting booed by your own fan base. But we haven't been hitting backdoor cutters well all season long, and we were tonight. We haven't been making lobs well at all, and we were tonight. I mean, some of those things, easy things, just when someone's open, a nice bounce pass into their hands, not past them, not through their legs, not sailing over their heads. I mean, just stuff like that went the way that it should, and I hope to see that continue.
I honestly think 3 to 4 people who can hit a three makes all of those things so much easier. And it probably is how they ran things all summer. And I don't know. I feel like you got to keep Jasper getting more and more minutes. And you got to play Cam like he's your best player. And if you play Cam like he's your best player, enough opportunity opens up that OA can just have highlight reel after highlight reel. Because he did that tonight too. I mean, he was bullying.
Awesome. I do think if you give Cam those opportunities to, by playing him like he's your best player, he does need to show up and answer that call. I think he's had some games where even when he's had the opportunities, he's had kind of I know he played a bunch of minutes, but where was he? What did he do? I don't remember anything he did this game. And that was the criticism of him at Tulane too. His usage was mega low for ostensibly being a pretty big part of their team. And it kind of didn't translate to the tape because he looked great in the tape. Why isn't he taking every shot? He's hitting these threes. He's driving well. He's cutting well. Why is his usage so low? So I think, yeah, obviously he looked great tonight, but he needs to keep doing that when you give him the opportunity.
Having him and OA out there at the same time to where he's your 4, right? I think that is the biggest thing, because you don't have like this. If he's on the court, he is going to be kept from shooting threes. But then if Owe's on the court, he's also going to be kept from shooting threes or driving. And then you get both of them out there and you center your offense around those two. There's enough opens up that both of them look way better.
Got a question here. Bryant from the Loyal BBN Fans Show. Thank you for joining. You know, we always love our fellow members of Alternative UK Media. Says, do you guys think JQ will be back? I think we're all in agreement here, right?
Yeah.
Just the knee soreness. You know, we're not sources guys, but we're friends of friends who have sources guys, and you know, nothing we've heard would make us think that that JQ's shutting it down for the season.
I also don't think it was very smart for him to do that.
Nah, to be a bad look.
Yeah, I don't think that he's. It's not. I mean, he had a good game his first game back, but it's not like he's been this dominant figure since he's been back to the point where NBA front offices are going to say, "Oh yeah, that's our guy." I definitely think he needs to show that he is who they thought he was. If he's going to shut it down.
He seems so engaged on the bench still, which is not what you'd expect from a guy who's silently sitting out.
Yeah. And
I also go ahead.
I just think he's probably looking at this game and saying, oh, if I'm initiating the offense or something, and we have this kind of setup, instead of putting him out there with seemingly two other bigs, and it's just like where everybody can just collapse on the paint every offensive possession. He will have some insane highlight reel stuff too if there's a spaced floor where he's the monster on the court. So
imagine him being there on a night like tonight where people are hitting their bounce passes and people are setting up lobs well. He is primed to take advantage of those.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he wants to. I mean, like you said, he seems engaged. He seems, and I don't think it's unreasonable for a guy who has spent most of the last year really not playing to have some lingering soreness, to have some conditioning issues, to have some time in which he needs to ramp back up.
We'd even talked about it. I don't know if it was the last episode, but it was certainly the one before. I know that Raph and I talked about it on our Christmas extravaganza, but he's been kind of like awkwardly stepping on one of the legs on the hurt one. So when it kind of got, the rumor out there it was out for knee soreness, I can't say I was surprised. And it would also explain why he wasn't in during the late game situation against Missouri, because he was out for the end of the game, and it would make no sense to have him sitting for that portion if it wasn't leg soreness, or knee soreness. So I just think the math just checks out there.
I haven't torn any of the ligaments in my knee and occasionally have knee soreness. I can't imagine if I was both more active and also had torn ligaments in my knee before. God damn it.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I tore my MCL whenever I was like 14, and it just like builds up fluid too, even after it's all healed up. And I don't know. I mean, it's still like it's like a baby ligament at this point, and he's ridiculously athletic, putting ridiculous amounts of force on it. So
if he was sitting out for draft stock or whatever, they would have picked anything else besides, oh, my recently repaired ACL is messed up. They would have picked some other less serious sounding health issue. So I think he'll be back for sure.
Yep. I agree. You just said my belly hurts.
Got a question here. So why are three of you dressed the same? What up with Ben? What is up with Ben?
I have elected, instead of appearing like a particular other figure in the UK media world, I've decided I'm just going to interrupt everyone for the duration of the podcast to honor him myself.
Just for the job you want, right? That's what the rest of us are doing. Just dressing up like my freaking hero.
I wasn't feeling sweet enough.
Oh, it's kind of insane how much confidence and rhythm makes a difference for Ortega's outside shot. His shot looks so much smoother than normal from the outside. Yeah, it's like we started, getting outside or open looks, and they started going in, which is a crazy concept to understand.
I mean, we said before, and even last year, I think sometimes Oweh's shots look better. I mean, yes, you want him to be open, but like maybe an open shot towards the end of the shot clock where he has to kind of go muscle memory, get it off quick, and can't sit there and think about it. And I really think when he has more time, it exacerbates his hitch and makes the whole thing worse. Looked all right tonight. I'll take it.
You can't exacerbate; you'll go blind. I think Ortega's issue is when he shoots threes, he should go back further based on the full court shot that he hit last game. I think he's too close.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got like this, like the trebuchet thing, right? And if it wasn't such a powerful force, he wouldn't have to like do the weird thing. So yeah, pull it up from half court, get a new like a 4-point line. Somebody get on that. And
it would fix our spacing issues.
Mm-hmm.
Need more space. Yeah. Catapult or trebuchet. Caleb is notoriously French, so I think we're team trebuchet.
Mm-hmm. Trebuchets are superior siege weapons.
Yeah, then once again, there's just saying, how about Moreno tonight? Yeah, great performance from him. And then Oweh 5 steals, Moreno with 4.
Moreno had strong hands tonight. And I don't know what happened in the past few, and maybe it's just that spacing again, right? Where you have more space to operate. It's not all kind of clunky and everybody bumping each other. And he just gets to be the big guy. I don't know. Spacing seems to be a really big issue, which is honestly, I think it makes me more optimistic for the state of the program in general, because you can find 40% 3-point shooters in the portal that maybe not even that good at like that much else, but you can find those guys. And apparently those guys are a requirement for.
Scrolling up in the chat here, we had a interesting thought. It said, I like the change in defensive philosophy, hedging the ball handler and trapping him. Yeah, I mean, especially with the way that we were playing just man in the beginning of it, and we couldn't stay in front of them, and they also weren't missing. I get where you'd have to hedge and trap more. I mean, you run a risk of that, of just an open guy below the basket, or really just an open shooter, but you had to do something because it was getting dicey there.
It's just using our length as like a actual defensive advantage. Sorry, my words weren't coming to me. That's something that I think we can do a lot, because a lot of the point guards in the SEC are like 5'11". So some of the shit seems simple. Get them in the corner. They can't get around you because your arms are too long.
Sometimes it's as simple as that. Isn't that great? Another one. Jasper looks like he can get past anyone, but doesn't always know what to do once he does. So accurate. And if you read anywhere on Twitter, they'll blame OTE.
I think some of it is just being a freshman. I think OTE does get a lot of criticism, and I wouldn't even call it basketball. Like, it's its own thing. But I think what it does do is like kind of get guys ready for the moment. They make a huge production out of it. It's a spectacle. It's cameras in your face. It's crowds. I think it's good in that way. I do think that in some ways the basketball suffers. Even the rules are weird. They have some almost like hockey power play 5-on-4 thing. The big bonus, weird. But I don't know that I'd blame that for his struggles. I think a lot of it's just being a freshman and learning his role and learning, I'm sure he's been the best player on almost every team he's been on, or one of them, for years. And to come into a league where everyone's good, it's just kind of a different position for him.
Banana basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
Peanut Butter Posse, friend of the show, best friend of the show. We love Peanut Butter Posse here. He bats 500 on the take, so I wanted to get y'all's opinion on this one. He said, "I'm hoping Jalen's season is over. Jasper buys in, so he's more valuable."
I'm not saying I hope his season's over. I think he has the confidence and abilities to do some things that Jasper can't. I think we've identified in the ways in which our team plays differently when he's good to go. I'd love if Jasper could learn from that to take on some of that PG1 driving, kicking mentality. I don't know that I've seen enough of that from Jasper yet, and so I do think we still need Jalen. I have seen enough from Denzel Aberdeen to know that he isn't that. And so yeah, I mean, I think that for next year, I'd love Jasper to get some development now. And if he could learn from Jalen a lot of the things that Jalen does well, that'd be great.
I think Jalen doesn't need to play with Mo and Aberdeen. He needs to have Owe and Cam out there for sure, and then maybe like I don't know. He can't shoot worth a shit, so yeah, it really messes up spacing with him playing point. If his guy doesn't even come to the 3-point line.
But he hit the shot against Alabama and did the Spider-Man hands. Or was that St. John's? I think that was St. John's.
That was St. John's. Yeah, Alabama took that. Wait, Missouri took that insane shot.
Oh yeah,
the one that out of a timeout.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Goose Givens was losing his mind about the hero ball played by Jalen Lowe. He went on the radio show after it, and I mean, practically said, "I'm not going to name names, but Kentucky played a lot of hero ball, and that lost them the game. Like when Jalen Lowe did this, like when Jalen Lowe did this, like when Jalen Lowe did this."
Oh man, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say I do hope Jalen Lowe plays again, and I don't want him shut down for the season. That's crazy. I mean, obviously he's not like, I would say not a perfect basketball player. I'd even say right now he's not a great player, and I don't think this team has, other than JQ, when he's on, a great player. But that doesn't mean that the team can't be something. Last year, we didn't. I wouldn't even say we had a great player last year, and we keep getting these guys in the portal and compiling them. But I think the difference between this year's team and last year's team is, while last year's team didn't have like a superstar, they had guys with elite traits. So you had Kobe's shooting, you had Lamont's defense, you had Amari with his rebounding and his passing. Like, you just had all of these elite traits that you can combine these things and have a great team. We don't have, other than JQ, a guy with like an absolute just elite trait to push us over the top or to give us an edge. So yeah, give me Jalen Lowe, who is just like, I guess, another tool in the tool belt there, because I've seen what we have behind him, and I don't love it. And I've seen enough from Jalen to think like, yeah, that guy can be something. Like, he's the best passer on the team. That's got to count for something.
Yeah.
He was an all ACC guy, so it's not like he's just some scrub. Like, there is something there for him to get playing time.
He also doesn't practice.
Yeah.
And that is huge. He is hurt. So yeah, he's like kicking the rust off every time he plays right now. And then also not having that chemistry of all of those reps that you get in practice. So yeah. Is hurt Jalen Lowe better than a Aberdeen starting at the point?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think so.
The thing is that with what we were seeing in the last 10 minutes here, if they played like that, then what we were doing earlier, where we were bringing Jalen Lowe in off the bench as just kind of like an energy, like a microwave type guy, if our starting lineup was what the last 10 minutes were tonight, and then you bring in Jalen Lowe as a reinforcement, now I can buy into that. I could be into that. It's just that's not what we were seeing before. Now, if we've turned a corner, all of a sudden, you've kind of piqued my interest there, Mark Pope.
I really like that Low off the bench, because then that presumably means Jasper Johnson starting, which is good for his development. It's good for recruiting of elite freshmen or elite high schoolers. Yeah, I really like that Jalen Lowe off the bench idea.
I think it would probably be Denzel Aberdeen probably starting at the 1 rather than Jasper, and you probably have Cam. I would want Cam starting for sure, though, over Colin.
So let's say Mark Pope makes the best decisions. Who's our starting lineup next game?
I'll go. I'll say.
Is JQ
Aberdeen.
good to go in this
Yeah,
hypothetical?
I would say yeah. Let's say let's give him a week for a sore knee. So I would do Aberdeen, Otega, Cam. The 4 is tough. That's where I'm getting hung up. Oof. Because I don't want to start Mo, but I want to start JQ. Uh-oh.
I think Jasper.
Okay.
Aberdeen. Owe. Cam. JQ.
100%.
Okay. I can go for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think that the 4 and the 5 are tough, because I want Malachi to play. I mean, if Malachi's looking like he did tonight, that's a weapon. I mean, he was passing well, he was stealing well, he was assisting well, he was rebounding well, he was efficient. I mean, that's great. I don't think he's the athlete or talent necessarily that JQ is, but his development is important, just like Jasper's is. I think it's a real logjam at 4 and 5. You got a lot of guys that aren't necessarily compatible together, but that you do want to get minutes. And certainly, I mean, the fan base is not going to be happy with, well, just play them all 20 minutes. That's what we've done for the season, and that hasn't gone so well. So that's tough. If I kind of like Jasper, Aberdeen, Owe. Cam at the 4 maybe, but when he plays well there, but when you move him into the 4, you make the log jam at 4 and 5 much worse. Like, it's bad enough already trying to fit in Mo and Yelovich and BG and Moreno and JQ. That's a lot of guys to split 2 positions minutes with. And then you're moving another guy into that category that you want to play a lot. That's.
The thing is
I see why this is a challenge.
I think for me, I don't give a shit about if BG only comes in for a few highlight plays a game, and Mo plays 10 minutes a game. That's cool. as long as we're winning by 24 points against SEC teams. I want Owe to be able to do what he did tonight, and I think that requires your 4 to be able to be as dynamic of an athlete and shooter as Cam is. I think Yelovich is interesting because he at least they have to respect him enough to guard him, but Cam is really he really puts pressure on the defense with his skill set, and maybe Yelovich could do that as well. I'm not sure yet.
I'd like to see a couple games from Yelovich like this strung together.
Yeah,
if he can, he doesn't even need to score a ton, but if he can be a positive value player for the minutes that he plays, that'll make me feel more comfortable including him in that role.
I also think Yelovich 5, Mo 4 is something that complements well.
I like Pope's been holding out Yelovich so the SEC doesn't get any tape on him, and now he's ready to unleash him. That's my head.
I'll say I did suggest Yelovich and Mo together like 10 games ago because I compared Yelovich to Grant Nelson, which worked really well with Mo last year for Alabama.
Yep. You definitely are the one who planted that, and I think that at least helps unclog the logjam a little bit from like a managing expectations part of it. But as far as like what is our best lineup, I think it's kind of obvious.
Right. I'd like to see Yelovich JQ. I think that could be interesting.
That could, because again, Yelovich JQ doesn't play short, but he is really kind of a short 5-man when he's in that role. And so Yelovich kind of adds some height there. He can stretch the court a little bit in a way that JQ can't. So I can see that combination too. I think it works for the same reasons that I think it would work with Mo. If Yelovich is having good, productive, positive value minutes.
So remember last year, Ainsley Amanor would come in for 15 minutes or whatever, and he would just like go to his corner and he would stand there. Imagine if that was JQ, right? So he's playing year 4, and he would not shoot it. He wouldn't pull up from there usually, but he would do some superhuman stuff, taking that to the hoop if you have enough space. And I think, if Yelovich is initiating your offense and is your 5, I think that could work and be like another way to kind of unclog the overabundance apparently of 4s and 5s that we have.
I like the opposite of that. I like Jelly in the corner shooting those threes like Ainsley, with JQ initiating Amari style, because then he can put it on the dribble.
Mm-hmm. Does he? Why hasn't it? It's like he hasn't done that yet, and I don't know if it's because he can't or just doesn't know the offense enough or what. But
if we're gonna put Jelly in the corner to shoot threes, I need him to get better than 23%.
Yeah,
I'm guessing he'd be better at that than JQ, the shooting threes part, but barely.
Now, if JQ all of a sudden started hitting threes, he's number 1 overall pick, right?
Yeah.
I'll say though, Jelly's shooting better than Jalen Lowe, so
yeah.
for better or for worse, on higher volume. Well, and Lowe's been out a bunch of games, but
yeah. We said he's batting 500 with takes, and then Peanut Butter Posse brings some heat because no one's going to disagree. BG greater than Mo. There's not a more positive BG podcast on the internet right now than the Catican, because we grade him on the BG curve, and he gets it 100% every night on this show.
Yeah,
BG levers.
Yeah, he got a few highlight reels for his post game tonight, and
he's going to put that on Instagram.
He had 0 was a plus minus 13 minutes, but he comes in and he's really fast for those 13 minutes. I feel like maybe 7. Bring him in 7 minutes to run the court and make their big get tired.
Stretch the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, he pulled that three. It looked like it was going to go in. I ain't mad about it anytime he does it.
No, I'm not either.
Browncoat fan, friend of the show, says it really hurt Yelovich that he did not get to play with them this summer. Hopefully the last 3 weeks is why he did so much better today, and we can see that in the future. Yeah, not widely talked about, the fact that he missed a lot of the team chemistry stuff.
I was really frustrated with the fact that he kind of could have come in like the very tail end of that 8-week period they're allowed to play this summer, and he didn't, and they kind of brushed it off like, well, he's just going to come 2 months later instead. And it's like, well, I don't know. I'd kind of rather him be here, and even if he is just catching the tail end of your formal practices, playing pickup, practicing, and some of the chemistry stuff with the rest of the team, I think would have been really, really helpful. I watched him some in the Adriatic League, and he really has more than he's shown.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I don't know what level of competition they're playing in a lot of these cases. But anyway, he's more talented than we've seen. And I think some of that is lack of chemistry from missing time this summer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that his ceiling is like to be a contributor on an NBA team, right? So if he can be that stretch forward and understand what he needs to do on defense, I don't know.
Back to BG though. I would say I liked what I saw from the night. I think he did have one, and listen, we don't judge BG around here. Where I think the ball went through his legs, just
through his 5-hole
for our boy. But I'd say he had pretty much the moment of the game during Missouri, where we went on that little run against them. That was a BG run. I loved it. Switching on a dime here, Will Stein going to Kentucky finally. I like him, purposefully tanking and having Moore throw those interceptions just so he can get to Lexington a little bit quicker and get some studs. Dougie says, man, we got 2 5-stars committed. Will Stein cooking. Number 1 linebacker in last year's high school class, 5-star, heading to Lexington. Love to see
the
it.
number 2 overall offensive tackle in the portal.
And a really good guard, like the number 2 guard or something like that.
I didn't know that we were capable of getting football players that are this good. I thought we were capping out with the Vince Marrow era and getting, Youngstown's
grown men.
Yeah.
Grown.
But it's a new era, and it's actually really awesome to see is that, and I am grateful for what Stoops was able to do here, because we went from beating out like Toledo and UAB for players with Joker Phillips to, hey, we're competing with like Purdue and Michigan State with Stoops, to where it's like now we're getting legit dudes, and you're going to want to get these guys year one because you don't quite know how next year's team is going to work. We're able to recruit off of that Oregon rep, and boy, is he ever. So very, very happy with the start to the Will Stein era.
Yeah, get a 1 stud receiver, and then I feel pretty good about winning some games we shouldn't probably win.
It's funny. I've seen some people like kind of, not that they're frustrated with his recruiting overall, but like, oh, we're losing these guys. And that's like, yeah, but look who we're losing them to. Look who we are in the conversation with. I mean,
also, we sucked last year so bad that they paid our coach $35 million to F off.
True that.
What a compliment it is to our program that we were competing with LSU for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Like what world are we in right now? I'm not going to pretend to be disappointed about that. I think that's sick. And now he's going to go to Miami?
I think he's going to go to LSU still.
Oh, okay. Still.
Because the Washington kid didn't end up getting to leave Washington.
Right. That was a wild story to
20
follow.
24 hours of just...
Once again, kids in the portal getting just dog shit bad advice from non-certified real agents who are probably taking a much bigger percentage of their payment than they should be entitled to.
We hold on. Yeah, I just saw here we have the number 4 ranked transfer portal class. What is happening? What? I can't believe this is my life.
And we're just getting started, bro. This is just the beginning.
Will Stein versus Kurt Signetti for the future of college football.
I like that. We went up against we went up against Signetti last night, and we put up a dud just to put some bad tape out there. Get Signetti feeling a little overconfident. He gets complacent after winning the Natty this year, just for Kentucky to rip his throat out next season. What a story that's going to be. I thought you guys were going to pick up the ball there. Let me try to find something else in the chat. Trill Spivey says, gone are the days of Patrick Tolles. Love Patrick.
Hey, this is a pro Patty Ice podcast.
Yeah. I had a buddy who he wasn't a Kentucky fan, but he would watch every Kentucky football game of the Patrick Tolles era with me because he was a frat guy, and he just saw a picture of Patrick Tolles and he went, "It's the frat god. It's Patrick Tolles. Look at his hair."
Me and Patrick Tolles had a econ class together in Memorial, and it was like a clicker class, and thank God for him. He was good at the clicker. I copied him most of the time. So shout out Patty Ice.
Good with the clicker. That's his number one accomplishment from his time at UK.
So what is our slant here when people keep saying, because I have my own thoughts on this, but what is our slant as the Catican for when people say, oh, Kentucky football is not having an issue getting good transfer players with the JMI deal?
That's a good point.
There's just such a difference though when a top 10 basketball prospect and a top 100 football prospect at a position that maybe isn't like a sexy marketing position. You know, we got Notre Dame's backup quarterback. We didn't get a guy who's predicted to go top 5 in the draft. There's such a big difference in the representation of those two entities that the contract stuff is way there's way more to untangle with a guy who's already got deals with Nike and Crocs and looking to expand on that stuff and looking to start early, because as soon as the season's over, those dudes just check out. They maybe don't even show back up on campus.
I basically agree. Because even just looking at roster sizes, right? So if you're taking a roster of 70 to 80 dudes versus like 8 or 9 basketball players that some of these teams are willing to dish out big money to, like what's to stop a team from just spending so much of their NIL budget on one guy?
I think too that related to that, the individual marketability of players is wildly different. I mean, Trent Noah has this Fort Bank commercial. I mean, Trent Noah is relatively far down our bench and immediately recognizable to any Kentucky basketball fan. How many casual fans do you think can name our offensive linemen, even if they're really, really, really good offensive linemen? I mean, just the individual name recognition is so wildly different. And so I wonder if there's some difference in how they would interpret something like, hey, this is what we're going to give you and you can't go seek more on your own. You know, if there's something like that in the JMI contract that's offending these basketball players who are highly marketable on an individual basis and want to go out and get their own other deals, maybe an offensive lineman doesn't feel the same way.
Yeah, I would say that would likely explain why we get studs at O-line and at linebacker. And yeah, we didn't get the best quarterback in the transfer portal and had to get Notre Dame's quarterback because it's a quarterback. So we likely would struggle more there unless it's a guy who really wants to work with Will Stein.
Yeah, exactly. So Sam Levitt's representation is like his brothers, right? And it's like this circus. And that's what the top 20 basketball players representations are like.
This is good, guys. We're getting our talking points out there. We're all getting together. Cool. Just want to make sure we're on lockstep there. I think, by the way, guys, Lando's here. So everybody say hi to Lando.
Free Lando.
If you're watching, please like and subscribe. We are incredibly close to 1,000 subs. And then the Catican actually can start making money. This has been a massive sunk cost for all of us. But we do appreciate you hanging out. But please leave us a like and subscribe. Because we are the future of Kentucky media, and we have the sweaters to prove it.
Yeah.
Jared is holding the puppets hostage until he gets money to ship them. Please. Dude, I want my puppet desperately.
I was at UPS today, and I get to the front counter, and I went, I'm thinking like I'm doing a bit, right? So I'm like, getting up there, I'm like, so this is a little bit embarrassing. The guy was not having it. He went, what? And I felt disrespected. I almost walked out immediately, but I was just like, it's puppets. And he just looked at it, and he looked at me and down and back up and went, it took my breath away, the disrespect. And then he's measuring it to try to figure out the packaging. And then he just starts doing this with his hand and just measuring it out. And then he steps away and he comes back and he goes, so yeah, the shipping and packaging for it's going to be $120. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to come back. I'm going to reassess what I do here because it would have cost me like $500 to send you guys the puppets. I might as well just drive to you myself. And then we can hang out, kiss, whatever you guys want to do.
Like we did last time you were in Charlotte.
That's the thing is, I could just
last two times you were in Charlotte
in an afternoon, so I might just do that. Captain Crash said, "Did I miss anything?" You saw the game,
We're back. We're never losing again.
But fellas, anything else you wanted to add? How are we feeling going into the LSU game?
Bad, which is good. So
I don't think this team has earned us to feel confident going into an away game.
Nope.
Per KenPom, LSU is better than Mississippi State.
Not ideal. Do you think they bring Lane out?
No. They did it, and then on Kim Mulkey night and lost or whatever.
Yeah,
that was brutal. That was a the time of LSU has passed type moment. Can't be doing that.
Yep.
They held hands walking out of the tunnel together, which I thought was so bizarre. Like imagine if Kenny Brooks and Will Stein did that in Rupp.
I think that would heal. I think that would heal the planet.
Yeah, it would. But
I think
thought that was gross because Mulkey is too old.
Hot take.
I think
Kenny's
it was gross. I think it was gross because they didn't get Lane Kiffin a Queen of Sparkles sweater.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been tight.
I think that how are you gonna let her stage him like that?
Did you guys see the tweet that Lane put out after Ole Miss lost in the playoff?
No.
He put out basically just like a congratulations on the season for Ole Miss, but he put just like a cartoon gif of a heartbreaking saying like best season in Ole Miss history, and I was like, this is the greatest coach in college football right now.
He's one of the best characters in football, in sports, really.
For the reasons that people do like him, I'm just like, I don't really care about that. Like a football coach is a football coach. But for the reasons people hate him, I'm just like, this dude's amazing.
Yeah.
He's
I
my
need him to
favorite.
go 9-2 to the playoffs, lose the first round, 5 years in a row. You can't fire him.
Nope.
Just make him a permanent fixture. But then also don't give him
the weirdest Lane Kiffin interaction I saw this whole cycle was the interview with him at the airport where people are like yelling at him and the camera's picking it up. And he's just like, he had, I guess, just been told, like, you're not going to be able to coach this team. And he's standing there just like sad looking. The reports had all been about his whole staff that's going to come with him, and the interview's just with him, and you don't see anyone else. You have no idea. It was just the most awkward interview.
Do you think he realizes how bad Baton Rouge sucks now? Like, Oxford's nice, and Baton Rouge is gross. And now he has to live there. Like, the gaming experience is way better, obviously, at LSU. But Lane Kiffin doesn't. It seems like he would value the talent outside of football a little bit more.
Well, I haven't been to Baton Rouge, so I may be.
Well, I'll tell you, it sucks.
And like I feel like the game environment is going to be better at LSU, but the game day environment is not. The Grove is fantastic. I mean, Ole Miss does it right. It's the bars are good. The Oxford is a fun place to be on a football game, whether you're going to the game or not. And I don't know if Baton Rouge can live up to that. Certainly Death Valley, that's its own thing. But if the money's equal and you feel like you can win at Ole Miss and you have it all and they're matching everything, I'd stay there.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I think it's literally just Saban told him to do it.
Yeah.
Told Lane Kiffin?
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize how, because he was at Alabama so long, a lot of people don't realize how important LSU was to Saban. Like their very first intro press conference, he stopped and said, "It's important to me that you know that place is incredibly special to me, and I still love it there. Like, I'm here now and I get it and they're a rival, whatever. But I will always have love for LSU." And his wife stood up and like made him say it.
And you hated him for it, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wasn't a Bama fan yet for another like 8 years. So.
Someone said, did you see Marty Smith talking about driving a van through a field to get the interview with Lane Kiffin? Hilarious. It just means more, fellas. Okay, I'm blind reading this one, so I don't know what to say. And it's Captain Crash, so who knows? Have we already talked about the fact that the ball moved better than ever and Mo only played 13 minutes? We, in fact, did. And
we did. That's what you meant to answer your earlier question.
That was it. That was it.
Very specifically.
All right, boys. We covered the basketball game, we covered the football recruiting, and we covered Ole Miss. So I think we're good until the LSU game. So it's good to hang out. Thank you everybody for watching and liking and subscribing and hyping if you're watching this a day after it streams. And we're all just really happy that Ben's back. Can't help but notice that Ben wasn't here for the tough losses, but he comes back during a win. So a bit of a front runner there, but I'm not going to point that out because I have class.
I was just dooming so hard as I'm known to do and love when other people do.
Oh, guys, I just realized we never had the whole "is it okay to boo" because they were booing in the first half. Do we touch on that?
Absolutely.
It worked.
Game.
Exactly.
See, Ben's going to say
I won't boo my own team. It's crazy to me.
I mean, I wouldn't have probably had I been there. Actually,
somebody made the point.
Except for peer pressure.
somebody made the point too that Will Stein is there trying to recruit basketball players here, and their first impression of UK sports fans, and like admittedly down 16-6 to a bad Mississippi State team is not a good time
They
anyway.
booed and then proceeded to score 86 points.
Right. I mean, it did work. That's the frustrating thing. But I would struggle to do it. I get why people do it.
I think it's a good thing they booed in front of Stein and the recruits. That this is a school that's ready to be a football school now, and he can just use that as a recruiting pitch.
Did y'all watch the game last night?
Yes.
Indiana fans were insane.
They said it was like a 90%. Yeah.
That's exactly what would happen.
I think that the booing is actually a positive for the football recruits because they're like, oh, they hate the basketball team. They must love the football team. Yeah. Certainly they wouldn't boo us.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And
yeah, I can't ever see the fan base booing football.
New Boots just basically saying scoreboard because we did get the commit. So I don't think I personally could boo. I don't think I have it in me to boo the basketball team, but I understand why they would. Like if you're spending your hard-earned money and you're getting that product, like yeah, I mean you paid for your seat, do what you want. And the booing, I did feel that it was warranted, and I don't think that they were just booing those few minutes there. It's a continuation of what we've been seeing for the entire season, and I felt like it kind of culminated in the Gonzaga game, but then it just kept happening. I get it. I don't think I'd personally do it. Lando, call him a surprise. But I get both sides of the argument. So old Finsitter Jared over here, but 502 who was there said it was tense in there for the first half. So, but then they started playing better, so they like being next.
A lot of the first half was ugly. I mean, I get it too. I wouldn't have done it, but especially there was like 3 or 4 possessions almost back to back that were turnovers or bad shots that were essentially turnovers. And it's like, yeah, that's not great.
13 for 22 on layups. They didn't really do many of those in the second half. When you only hit half your layups, there's people who don't know anything about basketball. They're going to get pissed off watching that happen.
I don't even know if we're so much so as that we're booing missed shots, but just absolute dog shit offense and just poor effort all the way around. Like I certainly can rationalize booing poor effort and just what are you doing out there versus just, oh, this guy happens to not be able to make a 3 tonight. Like at least he's trying.
I agree with that. I said this online earlier, though. I do tend to think that sometimes people, he's giving poor effort, or his body language is terrible when a player is just playing poorly, because the alternative is that the player is playing poorly or their player is bad, and they don't want to believe that. So it has to be lack of effort or has to be bad body language. And it's like, I don't know. Like, looks,
yeah,
and that's not to say that there haven't been some serious effort issues with this team over the course of this season. There definitely have been real lapses that are, and calling that out is a legitimate criticism. But I do think a lot of that too sometimes is just like, oh man, he's missing shots and sucking tonight. Why can't he try harder?
Yeah. And I think that, who's a great example of this is, and he doesn't get booed, is BG, because I feel like BG tries. He doesn't always play well, but I do think that BG is trying to play good basketball, even though he doesn't always play good basketball. Whereas a lot of it, particularly some of our guards, let's say, I don't think are always playing hard, or especially playing for the team. And I think maybe some boos are warranted for them. All right, cool. Anything else you guys wanted to cover before we head out of here?
Nope.
All right. Everybody, thank you so much for joining the Catican. For Raph, for Kale, for Ben, I'm Jared. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.